Good afternoon, everybody. We will see the answer for the morning questions. The first one, I used to drive a 10-ton truck, deals with mass, which is a scalar quantity. When we know that a truck weighs 10 ton, we don't need to ask in what direction. You will find a gas station if you follow this road 20 miles due north, deals with the vector quantity of displacement. When asking direction to a gas station, you don't simply want to know how far it is from where you are, but also in what direction you need to go. The 10-volt battery is the one on your left. It is slightly tricky. Volts are a scalar quantity. You don't ask in what direction the battery's volts are going. However, you might be deceived by the mention of on your left. However, on your left is a reference to the battery, not to the volt. The magnitude 10 volts doesn't have a direction, so the quantity is a scalar. The answer is B. Okay, our today's topic is vector addition. The easiest way to learn how vector addition works is to look at its graphically. There are two equivalent ways to add vectors graphically: the tip to tail method and the parallelogram method. Both will get you to the same result, but one of the other is more convenient depending on the circumstance. Tip to tail method, we can add any two vectors A and B by placing the tail of B so that it meets the tip of A. The sum A plus B is the vector from the tail A to the tip of B. Have a look. Vector A, the tip of vector A with the connected with the beginning of vector B, and the resultant A plus B is from the beginning of vector A to the end of vector B. Note that you will get the same vector if you place the tip of B against the tip of A. In other words, A plus B and B plus A are equivalent. The second is our parallelogram method. To add A and B using the parallelogram method, place the tail of B so that it meets the tail of A. Take these two vectors to be the first two adjacent sides of a parallelogram and draw the remaining two sides. The vector sum A plus B extends from the tails of A and B across the diagonal to the opposite corner of the parallelogram. If the vectors are perpendicular and unequal in magnitude, the parallelogram will be a rectangle. If the vectors are perpendicular and equal in magnitude, the parallelogram will be a square. Adding vectors magnitude. Of course, knowing what the sum of two vectors looks like is often not enough. Sometimes you will need to know the magnitude of the resultant vector. Thus, of course, depends not only on the magnitude of the two vectors you are adding, but also in the angle between the two vectors. Adding perpendicular vectors. Suppose vectors A has a magnitude of 8 and vector B is perpendicular to A with magnitude of 6. What is the magnitude of A plus B? Since the vector A and B are perpendicular, the triangle formed by A, B and A plus B is the right angle. We can use the Pythagoras theorem to calculate the magnitude of A plus B, which is the square root of 8 square plus 6 square, which is equal to the square root of 100, which is equal to 10. Adding parallel vectors. If the vectors you want to add are in the same directions, they can be added using simple arithmetic. For example, if you get in your car and drive 8 miles east, stop for a break, and then drive 6 miles east, you will be 8 plus 6 is equal to 8. 8 plus 6 is equal to 14 miles east of your origin. If you drive 8 miles east and then 6 miles west, you will end up 8 minus 6, which is equal to 2 miles east of your origin. Adding vectors at another angle. When A and B are neither perpendicular nor parallel, it is more difficult to calculate the magnitude of A plus B, because we can no longer use the Pythagoras theorem. On the rare occasion that you need to calculate the sum of vectors that are not perpendicular, you will be able to use the component method of vector addition, explained later in this chapter. Okay, you will get this lesson as usual by screenshot method, and then we'll continue about vector subtraction, and we'll see example 2 of this lesson. Until that time, don't forget to subscribe on Twitter, TikTok and YouTube channel, this Mami tutorial, Mami physics tutorial. Thank you very much. Have a nice time.